go on Uber and I type in my Airbnb's address and it says $250. $250 to go 45 miles out of JFK into New Jersey. And I think this was like one of the most responsible things I'd ever done because I was like, there has to be a cheaper option.
Hey guys, welcome to the Telugu Saga. Sai, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. Good to be back in LA with y'all. And we'll see how we all meet up soon.
అందుకే నా
Yeah, right, dude.
వచ్చింది earthquake.
ఏం మీకే తెలియాలి.
So you
Sorry.
wanna introduce our guest and start our chit chat for today?
Sure, man. Today's topic is really we want to get to know our friend's journey from college to into working at Amazon, which he had to move across country for. He graduated from UCR with business and information systems and currently working as a business analyst. He's our longtime friend. We would meet up for Telugu associations here in LA and other family events. He loves driving. I remember being in a Honda Odyssey of his with with this guy like doing crazy turns and speeds. It was a fun, thrilling experience. Most of all, he is the funniest guy that I've met. And literally, if you're having a bad day, he would literally make you laugh. He's a wonderful human being, and honored to have him on the podcast. Please help me welcome Andhra Muddubidda. Welcome, Srikanth.
Killing me, dude. Hello. Hello, Vishal. Hello, Sai. How's it going, guys?
Good man,
Thank you
how's
for
it going
that.
for you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Thank you for that intro, Sai. Appreciate it.
తప్పకుండా.
All right. So a question, Srikanth. So tell us your college life, the ups and downs, and what are you most proud of?
College was pretty cool for me. It was kind of the first time in my entire life that I separated from my parents a little bit. You know how that separation goes. You get like tons of freedom. You do whatever you want to do. Luckily, I didn't go too far for college. I went to UCR, 40 minutes from Glendora. Then we moved to Eastvale, which is 20 minutes from UCR. So, like even though I was 20 minutes, my parents were able to give me that freedom where I was like, you know what, you're going to college, you're going to do whatever you want to do whatever you want to do. And so I did I was a business major in college. I did business admin with a concentration in information systems. So yeah, actually to answer the last part of your question, what am I most proud of is my degree in business, which is something that I loved doing through college, and that's something that I love taking part in now as a business analyst at Verizon. Most proud thing about it is the fact that I stuck with it. When I first started, talk of college and people were asking me, hey, what are you going to do in college? When I went to India, it was, like the summer before college started in 2015, and everyone was like, oh, what are you going to do in college? And I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a business major. And, they give you a look. They look at you, and it's just like, why are you looking at me, man? Like, it's just business. But in their head, they're obviously like, oh, I thought this guy was gonna say engineering or doctor. Legit, like everyone I visited in India, it was just, oh, what are you gonna do in college? And the supporting question was engineering or are you gonna be a doctor? And when I say business, it was just like a disappointment. It was like, oh shit, this guy's like just off the rails. Just why is he doing business? But I think that's something that I'm most proud of for sticking to it. And I do think it's gotten me a long way, just in terms of where I went during college, where I went after college. So the 4 years of college have had few ups and downs. People ask that question, which is like, which year was your favorite year? But it's kind of hard to answer that question because you have obviously ups and downs in every year, but almost every year is your favorite because I miss college, man. Like if you ask me like right after college ended, I would have said first year. If you ask me now, I would say all years. All of the years are my favorite because you do a lot of unexpected things. Like you can never say like, oh, this is what I'm gonna do this year. This is what I'm gonna do this year. You're always jumping around. The first year of college was like an eye opener for me. Second year of college was wow, this is the best thing ever. I'm not gonna pay attention to classes. Just screw that. Third year was like, all right, I gotta catch up with some stuff. And then fourth year, like really was upsetting. I got suspended for a quarter. I got accused of cheating on an essay, and it was like the most devastating thing because I genuinely do still believe today that I didn't cheat. But they booked me for something that was very trivial, in my opinion. And due to a previous incident of a whole class cheating, meaning everyone's name was in a Google document for a final test, and they took I think like 350 people's names down, and it was like a warning for 350 people just because their name was on a Google Doc for a final. That was unfortunate. And then the second incident got me that suspension, which at that point I was like, you know what happens when you get a suspension in an Indian household? Like, dude, be careful with that one. It's just like you don't know what your parents are gonna do. That was really, really upsetting for me because it put me back a quarter. It prevented me from taking some classes, and it threw out the opportunity of like summer internship. In that gap of 3 months, because it was a quarter system, in the gap of 3 months, I didn't do anything, man. Like the suspend, like it really, really, what it is, it like threw me off. I didn't do anything, but I had Lambo. Have you guys met Lambo? Lambo's my dog right here sitting. Hello, Lambo. But anyway, this guy really helped me, dude. Like he gave me a schedule. Raising a dog like requires a lot of attention, and it requires for you to adapt to the dog's schedule because they wake up early morning. They got to eat in the morning, or they're not going to eat the rest of the day. They need exercise. They need like attention. You got to pick up their poops. You got to make sure they're not peeing in the house. You got to make sure when they meet other dogs, they're nice to other dogs. It's a whole like system, and you have to adapt to that system. And I think that kind of brought me discipline, something I've lacked all my life. Like Sai was saying, I drive really fast in cars, but like when I used to do it, it was like lackluster, kind of careless. We were young. It was just like, oh yeah, Toyota Sienna, dude, cool car. Like everyone's parents has that. You rip it, everyone laughs. It's funny, but it was still like a little bit careless. And I've always been careless. I'd say I'm still careless now, but at least it's like a responsible careless. Like I know what I can be careless with and what I shouldn't be careless with. So throughout the 4 years of college and towards the end, I think I changed, I think for the better, but I love college, man. Like besides that whole you're suspended, you cheated thing, I think the education did me well, and what I'm doing now, I'm really enjoying.
Shrikant, that was a really good answer there because you just brought like the realistic parts of college. Yeah, of course, first year is like definitely an eye opener. You get to understand what college is, and then you start enjoying it, and then during that time frame, you start realizing, oh, I need to catch up on a bunch of things, and then that's when you rush your third and fourth year, and that's pretty common for most people. I had to do a lot of catching up my third year, and the answer that I really love from you is when you're answering what are you most proud of, because it's really hard to not care regarding like Indian household like decisions, right? Like when people tell you like, are you doing engineering or medical, right? But do you not realize the world also runs on business? Like that's also a big thing, right? Though I'm in IT, my major itself is actually business administration. So,
Yes.
but within business administration, it's like computer information systems. So half of my major was all like business related classes, like managerial finance and all that kind of stuff. But it's really nice that you stuck with it, and I think that's a really good answer, because the peer pressure, especially from an Indian household, that's that's what gets everyone, and that's what people make changes and then go into fields that they don't like just because they're feeling pressured. But hats off to you for like keeping to that decision, and at the same time, like, yeah, you went through a little bit of a struggle your third and fourth year, but you got out of it, and now you're in a better position, and now you learned a lot of things, right? And you've matured, and so that's a really amazing thought process of yours.
We did the same major. I did business admin with information system. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that actually. For me, luckily, like I didn't have pressure from my parents to do like, oh, you should be a doctor. Yes, they did. My dad, it was mostly my dad, but he did say once or twice that like, oh, you should, why are you doing business? Like you should do biology, like bioengineering. And I think my dad and I have that relationship where I can look at him and I'm just like, Daddy, please. And he just gets it. He's just like, you know what, whatever. I did whatever I wanted to. I'll let my son do whatever he wants to do. So luckily, I didn't have that pressure from my parents. But, there's always that stigma, outside of the household, where it's just like everywhere you go, someone asks you, what are you doing? And you're just like, business admin. And they're like, oh, that's very nice. It's different. And you're like, yeah, it is different. You know what? It is different. So, yeah.
I think it's hitting me right now where మనోళ్ళు ఎలా అంటే బిజినెస్ అంటే మన వాళ్ళకి ఎలా ఉంటుందంటే బిజినెస్ ఓ కష్టపడక్కర్లేదు అవతల వాళ్ళు
Yes.
మాట్లాడుతుంటే చాలు ఇంజనీరింగ్ డాక్టర్ అంటే కష్టపడాలి ఆల్గరిథమ్స్ బయాలజీ అన్నీ నేర్చుకోవాలి బిజినెస్ ఏం నేర్చుకోక్కర్లేదు ఎవరైనా చేయగలుగుతారు I think that's where that comes from, but you get to know if you're a Silicon business owner, you have a lot of competition, and that's what they
Yeah.
don't get.
And it's not only, I'd say it's not only like us, it's not only like Telugu people or Indians, it's the majority of the population that says like, when I was in college at least, like you'd have in UCR, it was CHAS majors, you had SOBA majors, which is School of Business Administration, and then you had the engineering majors, which was BCOE or something, and there was CNAS, which is the sciences, so biology, physics, chemistry, and it was BCOE and CNAS. They would say, "Oh, you're a CHAS major." It was like something they'd look down onto, and I didn't appreciate that, and I'd like show that to their faces, and it was pretty cool that I did that because then they never said it again. Kind of shut them up. I hate that, dude. I hate when you think that what you're doing is better than what someone else is doing. I think that's one of the worst things that you can do to someone, to their face. But I'm speaking to everyone. Don't, like, you know what, like whatever you want to do, just stick to it, because at the end of the day, you're gonna like what you're doing.
You took business and
Mhm.
with a minor in information systems. Can you walk us through after graduation how your interview process went and kind of like share some tips and tricks for people who are still applying right now?
Yeah. So what I've learned now is there's two ways of getting a job. One is you get LinkedIn, you get Monster, you get Indeed, you get whatever other job posting sites there are. Even if you have to stoop so low as to Craigslist. Craigslist, I'm telling you, you're gonna take your shirt off and you're gonna be gardening, bro, like straight up. Uh, but you can download all of these platforms. You can put yourself out there, and you can wait for people to pick you out of the pile, or you can go to the people who do pick people out of the pile, i.e., consulting companies, i.e., Indian consulting companies, i.e., Telugu-owned Indian consulting companies. These dudes have some of the best connections in IT, and especially in America. I don't think people of our generation or from our background, where, like we came here young or we were born here and we don't really have that exposure to like how ITs really run. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen, like, it's all Indian uncles. Indian uncles and Indian aunties, dude. Like these people have some of the best connections in IT, and it's with these consulting companies, whether it's small or big. If you know someone, if you can find someone, connect with them because they will place you, dude. They will literally take you and they'll place you. Some of my friends now are being hit up more and more, and they're connecting more and more with these resources. And like it's crazy. Like some of them literally say to you, like, "Hey, we'll fake your resume. We'll put 4 years on your resume, and guess what? We'll interview for you too." I'm just like, what? Are you serious? What? For that's like an extreme, right? That's like, you're not gonna run, you're not gonna find that very often. And when you do, you're probably gonna be sketched out, and like 99% of the time, you're not gonna go for that. But what happened for me is one of my friends in the Bay Area got a referral for a business analyst position, which is exactly what I was looking for right out of college. I was applying for like 2 months. I got 2 interviews in 2 months. And I said to myself, like, hey, if I don't have a job by November, the situation is going to be really bad because I wanted to get a job ASAP. I wanted to start making my own money. So out of nowhere, I get a call from my friend in the Bay Area, and he's like, "Hey, my family friend just referred me to a business analyst position. I'm a computer science major, and I know you're looking for business analyst role. Do you want me to put you with them?" And I was just like, "Yes, please." Just like, yes, please. I don't care what this is. I don't care who this is. I'll take that business analyst role. I wanted that job title. So I ring the guy up, and he's just like, "Hey," and I'm just like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Oh shit, it's an Indian uncle," and he's just like, "I have this business analyst role with Verizon," and I was like, "Wow, that's very cool. That's very cool." And then he goes, "It's in New Jersey. Can you move in a week?" And I was just like, "Yo, yeah." And then I registered. This guy said New Jersey, which is like 6 hours away on a flight, and I've practically never actually been to the East Coast. I had been to the East Coast like when I was way younger, but too young to remember what it actually is. And at this point, I have a few days to accept the offer. After a phone interview with the manager who works in New Jersey, who's my boss now, literally a phone interview, and I think it was one of the most welcoming things. Out of college, I don't have any experience. Are you kidding me? I've never worked a job. I've never earned my own dollar. So on my resume, it was really just experiences and internships, unpaid internships. And it was really welcoming that, like people are willing to pull college students out and put them into roles and get them like a start. It's Indian uncles. Out of nowhere, man. I was just like, this is crazy. And the whole like moving to New Jersey in a week thing, I was cool with it. I was cool with it. I was like, you know what, I'm going. All of my friends were like, wow, you're going to New Jersey in such short notice. My parents were like, are you sure? But you should go. Everyone was surprised. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to New Jersey, bro. Like, let's go. I was all cool. And then I'm sitting at the gate. I'm sitting at the gate in Ontario Airport where you flew from. And it hits me. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna go to New Jersey right now. Like, I know no one there. I'm gonna go stay at an Airbnb for a week, and then I'm gonna have to find a place to rent. I don't have a car. I have no like bearings. I don't know what I'm gonna do. All I know is I have this business analyst role at Verizon corporate, like headquarters. And I start tearing up. I'm just like, oh shit. It hit me, like actually hit me that I was about to fly across the country by myself. I was getting on the plane by myself for the first time in my life, by the way. On top of that, I was going to the East Coast practically for the first time in my life. And I was about to go work for the first time in my life. So it all hit me at once. But I think it was one of the best things ever. Like, hands down, one of the best experiences ever. I got robbed COVID robbed a lot of people. I say that because exactly 3 months later, I flew back before the lockdown happened, and I've been working from home since then. So I hope to either go back or continue uh, that role or get an upgrade on that role. I land at JFK. I'm just like, wow, I've only really seen this in the movies, Kalahona or whatnot. So I get off the flight. I walk down and I see this stall, like this series of stalls, and they're help desks. Who the hell goes up to an airport help desk, right? No one does that anymore. I go to an Indian uncle. At, it's this. It's called Carmel Taxi Cabs. I've only ever seen it there. I haven't seen it here. Carmel Taxi Cabs, and I asked this guy. I'm like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm trying to get to this address. What do you recommend? And he goes, okay, you take this cab, fill out this information, and you'll get a phone call. The guy gives me a quote up front. He's like, okay, it's going to be $160, which is already, I felt so proud. I was like, wow, I brought 250. My inner Indian came through. It's just like, wow, I brought 250 down to $163. I was just like, it's the greatest thing ever. Swipe my dad's credit card because I haven't made a dollar yet. I just landed. Swipe the credit card. Sure enough, like 10, 15 minutes later, I get a phone call. Best service ever. 10, 15 later, I get a phone call and the dude's like, hey, are you outside of so-and-so gate? I'm like, yeah. Toyota Avalon pulls up. It's an Asian guy. Smells like cigarettes inside. I'm suffocating. But this is crazy. I call one of my friends' uncles. Never met the person. Call one of my friend's uncles. I'm just like, hey, I'm in the city. This guy's been living in the city for like over 20 years, over 25 years. He was a taxi driver in New York City, but now he lives in Long Island. So I just called him. I was like, hey, you're honestly the only person I know of in this area. I just wanted to say hi. Indian uncle. One of the most welcoming things ever. It was just like, oh my God. He'd been living there for so long. He had this accent. It was just like, I'm not going to try the accent, but he was just like, oh wow, like, welcome to the East Coast. Welcome to New York City. You're gonna have a lot of fun here. Like you're doing a really good thing. I can't believe you moved here in a week. Like it's pretty impressive and all. So I had one point of contact. So I get to my Airbnb, and that journey from JFK to the Airbnb was pretty interesting because I saw a lot of things. I saw the city for the first time. Amazing city. Like I cannot even comprehend like how good that city is to this day. Um, Amazing. It's just you see how old it is, but at the same time you see how modern it is. Get to my Airbnb, meet the Sri Lankan guy who's living by himself in this nice house. Um, by the way, this was December, so frosty. New York was frosty as hell. One of the prettiest places like I've been to be honest. Like trees everywhere. Like you see snow patches everywhere, and you see like frost everywhere, you see frost like hanging from trees, and you see the sun shining on the frost. And this was like the morning of, and I was living a dream, dude. Like this was a dream. I was just like across the country and by myself. Like I have no one to answer to, and I'm living a damn dream. Like, if you guys ever get the opportunity, I know Dilip, you've been there, you've done that. But if you ever get the opportunity to just jump on a plane and go somewhere, do it because you're not gonna regret it. Well, whatever it is, just get on the plane and just go fucking do it. But anyway, I spent time at this Airbnb, and I got to know like the surroundings, the surrounding area. It was pretty cool, dude. Honestly, when you get that opportunity, and when everything is going right, finally, and everything is so nice, everyone is so nice to you, it's a pretty good thing. And I want to be able to do that for someone in the future or multiple people because people deserve that. honestly. People deserve to be treated well. Um, I, as I'm saying this, that's one of the things I've learned, I guess, is people deserve to be treated well. And like don't take you being treated well for granted. Because that care comes from somewhere. And it's honest, I'd say. So first day of work. By this time, I had been getting rides from my colleagues.
Indian uncles.
Oh, actually no. Uh, for the first week, I was at the Airbnb. Oh wait, I can't even go to the first day of work. I have to go from Airbnb to how I found my apartment. I'm on Suleika.com at a coffee shop. You guys have heard of Suleika.us.co or something, whatever it is. Suleika.us, looking for 1 bedroom rent. Sure enough, Indian uncle hits me up 5 minutes after I've requested a certain posting, and he's like, "Hey, I have this room. Do you want to see it tomorrow?" I'm like, "No, dude, I'm at a coffee shop in LA. Sorry, but I can come on this day." And he's like, "Sure, sure, definitely." So from my Airbnb, I took an Uber and I see this place. It's low key like rundown. Um, it was a pretty old place, but it would do. It was perfect distance from my work. Um, the other people who lived there were Indian. One of the guys was like 40 something years old, super traditional. He'd wake up at like 6 a.m. and you hear like the ghanti, and he would go full on pujari, dude. 6:30 a.m. This like IT guy living, his family's in India, and he's going full pujari, and I'm just like, what is going on, dude? First, like the first day I woke up, I thought I was hearing things. I was like, damn, I'm really tired. I'm hearing like someone doing a puja, and this dude's like upstairs doing a puja. So I get this room in a basement. In a basement, dude. I was living in a basement for 3 months, and with other Indians, like other super Indian Indians, you know what I mean? So I don't have a car at this point, so I needed a way to get to work. I Uber like once or twice, and then when I get accustomed with my colleagues, they started offering like, "Hey, where do you live? Like, we'll give you a ride till you have a car." Again, super welcoming. I was like, this is the best thing ever. Like, people are actually like caring, and people actually take care of each other. That was a real eye opener, dude. It was like first day of work, perfect. Like you walk in and you finally see these corporate buildings, and some of the nicest like buildings I've ever seen, one of the best campuses I've ever been to. I miss that place. I've been working from home for like 7 months now, but I miss the place, man. It's nice to like physically go into work, and it's nice to see people. It's just like the times are so trash now. You can't do that anymore. It was really nice physically going into work, and at Verizon it felt like we were impactful as a telecommunications company. Like, you feel like you're actually doing something that's directly affecting your consumers. That's something I always wanted to do. I wanted to go into like product ownership, product management, project management, like whatever it is. But I wanted it to be business, and I got thrown into that. It's pretty good. They definitely didn't see me as like, oh, this young guy probably has a lot of attitude. Young guy probably doesn't know much. It was honestly more, oh, young guy, let's show him what we do here. It was young guy, let's throw him into everything so he learns as much as he can or as much as he wants to. So sure enough, like 2 months in, I got this not exactly an offer, but they gave me like an addition of a role. They made me a scrum master. I'm pretty sure you guys know what a scrum master does, but that was pretty cool. I was like, oh wow, like as a business analyst, I was kind of not overseeing, but I was understanding what the team does, what the parallel teams do, and kind of what the organization does. So they gave me a scrum master role as part of like a few other scrum masters, and I've been doing that now for a few months. So as a business analyst and a scrum master at Verizon, I believe I've learned a lot. To be honest, like specifically for my job, college didn't do anything for me. Like the material and stuff, like I learned everything on the go at Verizon. But college teaches you more than just education. And I've always thought like, you know what, it's not so much about the education, but it's so much about like what you absorb, and different people absorb different things when you have that like collective experience that college is. And wherever you go, you're always like absorbing different things to what other people are absorbing. So yeah, it was really nice. Like it was welcoming, and it was like, hey, like here's what you can put your head into, and honestly, like we want to see how you can help us. They were really open to like a young mind coming in with a different set of eyes who could take a look and who could organize like the day-to-day activities, and like connect with executives from this team or connect with executives from that team, take requirements, take like make translations of those requirements, present them to the engineering team or present them to the computer science team or whatever it is. It was pretty good. I'd highly recommend doing business. Like anyone who like asks me what they should do in college, I usually say like, oh well, what are you interested in? And then I say like whatever it is, add a little bit of business in there, because you get to personally, like you get to meet a lot of people and you get to make a lot of connections. That connection thing is something that I'd like to go back to. My friend's family friend who hits him up with a referral, not his role, so he forwards it to me. The referral guy talks to me, puts me in connect with my manager, who does a simple phone interview. Hey, this is what you know, but can you learn this? And I say, yeah. And I move in a week. I go there, I start working, have the time of my life. I get my very first car, my own car that I paid. Yeah, but I got my very own car, drove it around in freaking East Coast, dude. I went down to like Virginia for a business trip. First time I'd ever been on like a business trip. We went on like a 4-day conference, company car, company. You know how to say, company car ichara, company hotel icharu. You're on FaceTime and you're talking to everyone. It's just like it's such a nice experience, man. I'd say like more than anything, when someone says experience on their resume, I'm looking at like, how did this add to you? How did this experience add to you as a person? I'd say it did wonders for me, honestly. Most of all, it was really, really fun going out there.
నిజంగా నువ్వు స్టోరీ ఎలా చెప్పావంటే you covered all our questions. Now we don't have anything to ask you. But it all starts with that one single point of putting yourself out there. I really love that. Without that, your friend haven't had a chance to reach out to you and him referring to you. And every step of the way, you faced hurdles, but there was a person to help you out with that.
Yeah,
And it seems like the universe has been so good to you from the other side, but from your side, I'm sure you created an impact for them to allow them to be there for you. And I never was expecting this kind of journey. I know I had a call with you, you described it, but with you talking here just made it more impactful and emotional, and just telling us how grateful you are, and whether it be luck or sheer hard work, whatever it is,
luck.
um like but it's good that you also want to do this for others, and it makes us do the same thing, and it makes us reflect on our own journeys, because not everyone will be there for others, and some have to tackle themselves, and you've been in there. But thankfully our parents have let us be ourselves, across country. This is our first generation being in America, and it's hard for them to miss. ఇండియాలో అయితే పక్క జిల్లా కానీ వెళ్ళొచ్చు కానీ this is 6 hours away. It's hard.
Yeah, it's a little different here. Like how you interact with people here versus in India. Is a lot more different. Like in India, you'd have a million people on the streets and you know everyone. Like everyone in your VV. Like under the basically. But here it's like, bro, you barely talk to your neighbor. You barely know the names of your neighbors. In India, you know the name of your neighbor's grandma and grandpa. And like you make connections differently here too, because of that, you have like this gap. I don't really like that about this country. Like you have this uh, you have distance between people unless you go to like the Indian functions that we met at. Unless you go to family parties, like that's really where it happens now. It's like it's less who's around my near vicinity, and it's more let's go to this event where we can meet people. But anyway, that's besides the point. Point is make those connections, take those connections, and just move. Just always move.
I literally don't have any words because the way you described it, I was just like, when you're talking about your starting point of getting that referral and then going to the point where you had to move in a week and you were like at the Ontario airport, it's just like a lot of those like events seem really relatable. um,
Local
because
Kalena.
and I just wanted to keep listening to the story of us like what's next. Like you said about college, you learn stuff from college, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to apply to your work. What I saw from college is not just necessarily, all right, you pick up a book and you read and you're more knowledgeable. It's more like first year to college and last year to college, you go through a ton of experiences, and by the end, your capacity to learn or your capacity to handle more has increased. And that's what
Yeah,
I see in the 4-year journey. And I'm sure you've seen that as well.
yeah.
But yeah, that's just what I wanted to add.
I'm a huge procrastinator. So through the 4 years of college, this is weird, but I learned how to procrastinate because it's an art form, honestly, dude. I used to write papers for this professor, one of my favorite professors from UCR actually. But I used to write these papers, they were like 10-point font, single spaced, over 2 pages. That comes out to roughly 4.5. I think it's like 4 to 4.5 pages of double spaced 12-point font. I hate writing. I despise writing, dude. But weirdly enough, that's what I do at work. Um, it's not so much like writing essays, but it's you have to write a lot. You have to take down requirements. You have to translate things, and you have to like make sure everything is in order. And for that, you need to write a bunch of things down. But I'd write these papers, and like the first one, I was just like, this is annoying, When you hear 10-point font, single space, 2 pages, it doesn't sound fun at all. It doesn't sound fun at all. But like there was something about it where I'd pick up my phone and I'd write essays. I started writing essays on my phone third year onwards. And I'd sit there and I'd like procrastinate till whatever AM. And then I'd write on my phone and I'd submit it, and I'd gotten a good grade. For some reason, I got a good grade on this paper. And then I was just like, well, this is how I have to do things now. I have to write essays on my phone, bro. Like, so since then, like I started writing papers on my phone, and it just became this thing where I'd bust out a whole paper in like an hour, and somehow I'd get like a decent grade on it. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get jolly. I was just like, this is enough, bro. Like, so you kind of like learn for yourself, like how you operate. And one of those things was like, I guess I'm just better on a phone rather than a laptop. I'm better at doing this rather than this. Now, obviously, like I have to do this, but now at least like I don't mind writing. I don't mind like editing things anymore. Uh, I don't mind spending that time anymore. But yeah, I think you kind of learn like how you learn about how you're supposed to learn, or how you personally learn.
That's awesome, Srikanth. I felt like I got to know you a lot more during this 45-minute time because you talked about your experiences. Normally, when we catch up, it's all about what's happening in the present moment. We never talk about what's happened already. So it was great to know you that way. Due to time, we want to go to the rapid fire. We're gonna make it a little short, the rapid fire a little short, but just
Okay.
just to like relax a little bit, we'll just ask a question. But when you're off on your own, right, or when you're living at your own house and stuff like that, what do you occasionally do that keeps up with the Telugu culture? Like, is it something like watching movies, like cooking Indian food, speaking in Telugu family, doing pujas, going to temple? What are the things that you like to do in that sense?
This is on my own when I'm alone, pretty much.
Yeah.
Uh, I think music kind of puts me in place. I listen to like obviously English songs. I listen to Telugu songs. I listen to Hindi songs. I listen to like randomly. I listen to like Ilayaraja or like S.P. Balasubramaniam going off in Tamil or Malayalam for no reason. But like music is one way that I keep up with things. Movies. I speak I speak to my parents in Telugu most of the time, but since we're sticking to like alone, I feel bad that I didn't go to this temple in New Jersey. Like I was always like, oh, I'll go, but it was this famous Balaji temple. I wish I had gone to that because I kind of enjoy going to temples, especially Balaji temples. I feel like I have like a special connection there, whether it's Tirupati or whether it's the Malibu temple you guys are familiar with. That's something I would have done, but I didn't really get to because I was lazy about it. Other ways I stick to the culture. Ooh, food. Oh man, I love food. Like, can't tell you how much I love food. Like a good tomato pappu with like negi on top, bro, and like add some spice to it with some avocado or something. Um, Food is like another thing I cannot like live without. Obviously, for obvious reasons, but more like I can't live without like specific foods. My mom actually gave me like pori. She gave me like kandi pori, sanaga pori, and all this. And they were in Ziploc bags, and my roommates would look at me like this is the weirdest dude ever. Like he came with an American accent. He's living with a bunch of fobs, and he pulls out Ziplocs of pori, and he's eating this instead of cooking. The dude doesn't know how to cook, and I was just like, yeah, I don't really know how to cook, but I'll make pasta. I freaking love pasta. I'll make pasta. I'll eat the pasta. Pasta will be great. But like, food is another way I kind of stuck to the culture. There's actually this place called Biryani Pot in Jersey City. Pretty famous place. But they make this biryani, this Vejawada special biryani. And some of the people I met in New Jersey had like shown me the spot, and that ever since that one time, dude, I drive practically an hour one way to get this. I drive practically an hour one way to get this biryani whenever I felt like it, and it was so cool, dude. I'd get in my car, I'd drive like Jersey City, and I'd park there. It was like a rush. It was like, damn, I got my biryani again. And I'd go back and eat it. Or I'd just eat it in Jersey City. Or I'd eat it at the restaurant.
I'm sure you get the family pack.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. It was like, they'd give you like a large quantity. You munch on it and you just chill. Like, yeah, sticking to the culture. I feel like for me, it should be more how am I expressing my culture rather than how am I like connecting back to it, because I believe like out of a lot of my friends, I've lived in India for the longest. I've lived in India for like 9 years. 9 years of my life, and pretty significant years at that too. So for me, I take it as like, how do I not only like keep myself, a native of Bejawada, but like how do I build it up to people? How do you represent? How do you rep your origins?
What is something that keeps you going every day?
Cars, just the goals I have with cars. Like I want really fast cars in life, and like it requires money. So I guess like you gotta make that money to get those fast cars. But no, on a more like realistic note, it's just like doesn't need to like do something all the time. Otherwise, it's my dog. He really keeps me on my toes, honestly. Because I don't know who's gonna fuck up next at the dog park. But like yeah, my dog keeps me on my toes. Some of the closest people I know kind of push me all the time. They're like pushing me to do better, whether it's getting certifications like more solidly, or whether it's like, yo, are you working out? You're not? You're fat. Like, work out, bro. I still don't work out, but yeah, the closest people in my life really push me forward. And one of my favorite things in the world are cars, like Sai mentioned, but like yeah, those are some of the things that push me forward.
When you drove the Mustang a month ago, was that Oasis or you all rented a car?
The Camaro, the convertible.
Yeah, I think so. You guys
Oh
were
yeah.
driving up on the
So
mountain range.
yeah, so Oasis is another example of like all over the place. This guy travels all over the country for his work. And what's cool is that like he gets these rental cars all the damn time. And he had work in San Bernardino. So he flew here from Chicago. He moved to Chicago, by the way. His family lives there and everything. But he flew out here, got that rental car. And we were, as you said, we were hauling ass in the canyons.
And who's
It was
driving
just,
it? Not always.
yo,
Srikanth.
let's go. Yeah, it wasn't a waste. It was me. Really, yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice that my friends know that I like to drive. They just kind of hand me keys nowadays to just like drive.
Elu తీసుకో ఎత్తుకుపో
Yeah,
నాది
straight
కూడా
up.
నీదే. Awesome, man. Yo, thank you so much for today, Srikanth. Like Vishal said, I've not known this side of Srikanth like ever, just because we've been both busy, and I'm glad these kind of podcasts is giving us time to allocate to get to know each other more, and we'll make more time to like kind of recap on this whole podcast and just love the person you became and helps us realize those things that we haven't faced that you have come across. And I'm glad you're in a great spot with the right support system and how your dog is helping you. My dog is helping him in the same way, and life's good,
Got
man.
a dog?
Me anta German Shepherd కాకుండా చిన్న dog. Yeah.
Hey, dog's a dog.
Yeah,
Dog's a dog.
sounds good, man. Yeah, we'll catch up soon, man.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
For sure, man.
Thank you guys for listening on. Hope you guys have a great day. Again, Sai and I will be back with another special episode of the Telugu Saga. All right. Goodbye, guys.